Dead Reckoning. A lot of us had high hopes that Dead Reckoning would be the top of the pyramid in this summer of 2023 blockbusters, these summer releases. But here we are, 2 weeks in, and Barbie's made more than in 1 weekend.
I'm very disappointed by this because I love this movie.
This was a lot of fun.
And there's my other thing. The word of mouth of this movie is nothing but positive. It's nothing but positive. People are having a great time. And they go back to see it. Again, people have already rewatched it a couple of times. But it's only made $370 million on its budget, the $290 plus the marketing that it needs to get it. That's nearing
900 million.
Yeah, that's Little Mermaid indie break even zone.
Yep.
And again, we've already talked about this. The $209 million budget is not their fault.
Yeah.
It's the COVID restrictions. But the fact is that's the number. Mm-hmm. And I mean, originally this movie, before that, if the restrictions hadn't had to be put in place, it probably would only needed $500 million to break even. Mm-hmm. Probably.
I think two things hurt this movie more than anything else. Is one, the release date. It just had such hard.
It was weird.
Yeah, and it should have released on a Tuesday, which is really weird. I think it probably should have come out at the beginning of June, beginning of blockbuster season, open up the summer. There wasn't really any strong competition.
It would have destroyed Little Mermaid out of the gate, man.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah. And very different audience, so I think that would have made sense to come out end of May, beginning of June. And that would have helped it a lot. The other is they should not have marketed this as part one. I think they should have kept a tight lid on that and not let audience members know it was a part one until the end of the movie. Like it cuts to black.
Yeah.
The Dead Reckoning, part one. That's when audience members find that.
I hate part ones of stuff.
Yeah.
Mainly because I came from an era where sometimes you get a part one and you would never get a part two because the franchise got yanked.
And that's the reason why I never watch anything until series wise until the whole series is done.
Yeah.
Well, because stuff like that. And that's why I didn't go see this yet. I'm gonna wait till part two. Mm-hmm. And then I'll watch this on disc and then go.
Sometimes part one isn't as interesting as part two as well. That's the other thing. Part two is always more interesting, and there's a lot more going on in part two than there is in part one.
9 times out of 10, yes, I would agree. But yeah, you are all making great examples. Adam, you're a perfect example. You said, I'm not going to watch part one until part two comes out.
I'm on the record saying that.
Farther than that. But there's a lot of people who do that. I can't think of a single part one that did better than part two unless the franchise just dipped and just got destroyed. Like the part one was so bad that it killed the franchise, like what you're talking about. But anytime it's been a successful part one and part two made a godless amount of money more. Even with Endgame and Infinity War. Infinity War did great, but Endgame did so much better because of the lead up to it. And I think that's audience members going into Infinity War didn't exactly know that it was necessarily a part one. They knew there was going to be Avengers 4.
But we knew.
We knew. People in the know knew, but normies didn't. Like it was kind of like something that you had to know a little bit about it. So I think if until opening weekend they kept a tight lid on that, Adam, you might have gone to see it if it was just another Mission Impossible movie.
I might have
seen it.
Yeah, you are right. I mean, well, not much got to see it. I would have I would have seen it sooner than I was planning to see it. But I see you hit the nose, dude.
Between those 2 points, I think that's what's killing this film.
Because I want to see the complete story. I don't want to break. I don't want to wait years. Even with my memory, I'm gonna forget shit. And I'm not going to be locked on. So you get this. It made only $19 million domestically this week.
And it's a real shame.
Drop. Yeah.
It's a real shame. But I agree with everything y'all said, especially about the placement of this film. This film should have been coming out the first weekend of June. And at this point, I'd have no doubt saying it will be in the $1 billion range. I'm fairly certain. I have no problem saying that. But because it was really, it killed Indiana Jones, praise the Lord. But this going into its second weekend, going up against Barbenheimer, this is something that it should not have done.
Lyle Hammock also has the Sound of Freedom.
And no one saw this coming.
No
way
they could have predicted that.
No one could have predicted that the Sound of Freedom be the surprise hit of the entire summer. There's no way any measurable metric could have predicted that. So it went in with this weekend. Oh, excuse me, previous weekend, and previous Tuesday. Excuse me, or previous Tuesday, and because they still wanted to have the IMAX theaters, because Christopher Nolan already bought up all the IMAX theaters for the foreseeable future.
He got Tom in the ear with that one. He got Tom in the ear.
Exactly.
I think I've said before. I think that makes sense. Out of the two of them, this one was actually Oppenheimer was filmed in IMAX camera.
Absolutely.
Mission Impossible wasn't, so obvious winner there. But with two big IMAX movies, they shouldn't compete. Barbie is not a competitor at the IMAX. That's good. But Mission Impossible should not have come out even near another IMAX.
But it's just the pink storm that is Barbie. There's no way that you're going to get the repeat views that you wanted to for Mission Impossible. It couldn't be done.
I mean, again, I look at this, and this is not a scenario that I thought was going to happen. We can go back months, and my theory about Disney movies getting destroyed 100% correct.
Absolutely.
But the picture I painted that Dead Reckoning was going to be this massive juggernaut. One point we were all on record. We were all saying 1.5, 1.4, 1.6. We're on record. Last week we're going, okay, maybe it's just going to maybe break even and get a little over.
Yep.
Now, I mean, just this is not the scenario at this point post Disney theory done that I thought was going to be happening, because I'm still confused about Barbie.
No,
I thought Oppenheimer would be the one that would be giving Mission Impossible trouble, and then again, Sound of Freedom. And it's not a bad thing that Sound of Freedom is doing what it's doing. It was just it was not even a figure in the equation. It wasn't even a number in the equation. But here we are, and it basically beats out Mission Impossible on a weekly basis for the past 2 weeks.
It's insane. And I think Sound of Freedom is the thing that was really the monkey wrench in everything. Which, once again, I'm glad this movie's doing well.
Absolutely,
100%.
But conversation,
Yeah. Definitely, I'm glad it's doing well. But there's no way that anybody could have factored those numbers in, and it's just unfortunate. Now, I still think that Mission Impossible will have legs after the Barbie hype dies. I think after the Barbie hype dies and everyone has seen or been forced to see it, I think Mission Impossible will have a second breath. That's what I think. I think week 3, they will have a second breath. So, because I think a lot of people that didn't see Mission Impossible the first week, they heard the good word of mouth, but said to themselves, I'm already going to go to see Barbie this weekend. This is what I'm rationalizing. Yeah. I think they've already put in their mind, oh, Barbie is the week after, so I'm going to go ahead and see Barbie or Oppenheimer, whichever one. And then, hey, but the following week, I'm going to go check out Mission Impossible. That's how I'm equating it, because I don't think this film is going to bomb completely. I think this film might is tough, but it might have enough legs to break even once the hype dies for Barbie. I think people can go back and go see this movie.
I think it all depends on how long it's going to be in theaters.
I agree.
How long can Tom Cruise keep this in the theaters? Because he has a lot of say in this stuff. He has a lot of pull. How long can he be there? Can good word of mouth, like you said, give our domestic box office a second win for that? And then historically, it does well internationally. Mission Impossible does well internationally. So will it get that extra hop? And when we come back to this, maybe at the end of August, will it have crossed into the profit zone just enough so that we could say, oh, it hit profit. It's not great, but it did hit it. And it's enough to buy somebody a sandwich.
Maybe a sandwich. Maybe a Twinkie.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you'd like to reach out to me, please email me at theranernerd@gmail.com for all channel business purposes. I am on Twitter now, mostly for promotion and sharing of videos, maybe a little shit stirring here and there, who knows, @TheRenNerd. You can also find me at the Geeks and Gamers forums under @ROAS, and you can see me on Rumble and Odyssey under the Renaissance Nerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.